Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, Dr. Cross discussed the NBA Conference Finals as both sides have gone 2-2. NBA teams continue to fill their coaching vacancies as the Knicks are aggressively pursuing the top assistant coaching vacancies. And also the NFL has decided to come up with a new Anthem policy and so much more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to Debate Amongst Friends live on YouTube. This is the 105th episode of the Sports Podcast on May 23rd, 2018. I am your host, the Professor John Gotti, and as always by my side, don't call him Daniel Bryan because he's more like the big dog. It's Doc Ocean. How you doing tonight, sir?
It is good to be back in the place that the Professor built. Debate Amongst Friends Studios. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, you know, I had to man down the fort last week for you. You know, I thought I did an okay job. I just want to keep on doing a good job going forward, and you know, always glad to have you back, brother.
All I can say is hands down, man down, and you killed it. What a beast!
I don't know about that. Talking about beasting, let's get started. Let's talk about the beard. And we're not talking about your beard, Doc. We're not talking about my lack of beard because I trimmed mine off. I'm no longer a nomad. We're talking about the soon-to-be most valuable player of the NBA season, James Harden, who went absolutely bonkers last night against the Golden State Warriors in Game 4 out there in Oracle Arena in Golden State. Doc, the floor is yours.
I mean, to me, it was expected. I tried to tell people, you know, hey, listen, this guy, these guys are going to come out, they're going to win. Neither of these teams like to be embarrassed. I will say that. Neither team likes to be embarrassed. So I think the Rockets took a pretty big punch in the previous game, and they took a pretty big punch in this game.
They did.
But I'll say, when and I think I told you this off stream, when I saw Steph Curry go crazy, and they were only up by 10, I was like, "Oh, there's a problem here." And at that moment, very moment, I knew we had the game. Because there was nobody else really doing anything. I mean, I think Klay Thompson might have went down in the first half. I mean, James Harden was dunking on people. Eric Gordon was dunking down the lane. I mean, it was amazing. I felt like I never panicked. I was actually putting my clothes away while I was actually watching the game, and you know, I didn't throw anything or get upset at all. I felt like we had complete control. So I mean, to me, it was expected. And honestly, you know, as a fan, I don't want to jinx us, but I feel the same way I felt when we played the Jazz. I feel like we took their best punch, and I mean, we can only beat ourselves at this point.
That's true. I mean, and of course, I posted about it at the beginning of the game because it took them until about the 6:42 mark of the first quarter for them to finally, you know, get their first points in, which was, ironically, James Harden who got the first points for the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was 12-0. You know, with half the first quarter already over already. So for me, I just feared, like, you know, this might be Game 3 all over again. Like, they're just coming out just sluggish, but they managed to, you know, fight back through it. They managed to lead by half,
right?
Which a lot of people isn't giving as much credit for. And in the third and fourth quarter, I mean, if you want to talk about back and forth, if we want to talk about drama, intensity, the reason why we love this game, like those 2 quarters is why I love the game of basketball.
I agree. I think that it was one of those things that when I was sitting there watching, and this has been a very exciting NBA playoffs. There's no question about it. But I think when we were sitting there watching it, I was sitting there, and I'm telling you, I felt like the Reigns, and I don't mean Roman Reigns. I definitely don't mean Mark Reigns. The Reigns in California, sir, are over. So I'm making a bold prediction. And of course, I can eat these words very, very harshly. I can eat them very harshly. But I feel...
I can't believe you said that.
This series is over.
I really can't believe you said that with a straight face, too.
The Reigns?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, sorry.
The Reigns.
It's been a long... It's been weeks since I've been on the show. I mean, come on.
I mean, you make it sound like it's been like weeks, like months or years or something like that, sir. It's only been 1 week.
It felt like such a long time. I mean, I've been moving, I've been working, I've been shaking. I even just got blown out in Madden Ultimate Team. So, I mean, there's been a lot going on since the last time I've done a podcast.
Oh, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to air out all the grievances of the world, and for not just for our entertainment, but for you, the people.
Absolutely. But ultimately, I do believe that the series, it may go to 7, but I think the Warriors are going to have to find that they need to bring that old thing back, as the song goes. We need that old thing back.
I mean, I really thought that Mike D'Antoni pulled, James Harden over to the side and said, James, we need the old beard back.
And he might have. I mean, because you think, and I was wondering, and even at the last minute of the game, I think it was about 40 seconds left, and I saw James. He was on the left. He made his way to the right. There's a sweet spot in the right, not between the top of the key and the side, where he likes to shoot from. And I was like, don't do it. Just take him to the hole. Just take him to the hole. Don't you step back. Don't you step back. Don't you step. Oh, he stepped back.
Oh, you about to go somewhere else with that one?
I was. He clanged off the side, and I was like, oh, why did he take him to the hole? But the switching in this game is amazing. So, when you see Chris Paul and James Harden on Kevin Durant, and even Eric Gordon on Kevin Durant, game 1, he dominated us.
He did.
But now...
He literally made your team look free.
Yeah, but now, and this is what I mentioned, we want the old Kevin Durant back, that OKC Kevin Durant. This is what we're getting, and that's what I want. That's what we want, though. That's what we want. We don't want that old OKC James Harden or that old LA Clipper, Chris Paul. We don't want those, but we want the old KD back. The good old choke artist.
I mean, and just for the Rockets, and let's just highlight on the Rockets a little bit further for a second before we start talking about the Warriors. They came back from a 40-point loss to win.
This is true.
Now, and I had a chance to listen to, that pissant Stephen A. Smith, who always says things are blasphemous, and we have the unmitigated goal to insult him on live air.
Mm-hmm.
But he was saying one thing that sort of made sense. This is kind of what the NBA playoffs is now. Like, and when you look at a degrading loss, like a 40-point loss or 30-point loss, like, those kind of things do carry over to the next game, but that's not necessarily the case right now because how much the three-point ball is being used.
And the one thing I didn't want us to do, and that's what I thought was going to cost us the game, I didn't want us to go tit for tat with them with threes. That was, something I did not want. I felt like that could have kind of destroyed us, if you know what I mean. Especially when Steph Curry was hot, and in the timeout, you heard MDA say they're hot right now. Let's just play our game, and we'll be back in it. Keep fighting, and I mean that's kind of what we did, and I felt pretty good at that particular moment. So to me, I just felt we were going to win, and I felt that morale was sucked out of the building. I'm talking about they had 16 straight home wins.
Yeah.
Doesn't that just feel and sound like it's over?
Yes and no, because eventually you're going to lose.
Of course.
Like, and that's just the way it is. Like, oh, well, yeah, we won 16 straight home games. Yeah, we have the home court advantage, but what happened last night?
What did happen last night? And I mean, I think you mentioned it, and it was a good point by you. You said that they were that the Warriors are gonna steal one at home, and we would have to go and steal one in their home.
Yep.
And that's where we would have had an issue. And I'm glad to say that we stole one.
And I mentioned this, and that's all I was, all of social media saying, hashtag Gotti got reads. Make sure you pick up those shirts on teespring.com/store/debate amongst friends. But I did say it was going to be 2-2 heading back to Houston, where the team is going to get a home, is going to steal a game.
And this is where I'm hoping that I have reads. I really believe, in the deep of my heart, fandom aside, I feel like this series is over. And it might seem biased because I am a Rockets fan.
Yep.
But that's just the way I feel. I felt like what I saw, they couldn't stop James Harden. Chris Paul went like 0 for whatever until he started making baskets. And it was just amazing to see. I mean, I could talk about the Rockets all night long. But we do have another, conference final to talk about, which, is our favorite subject of all time. The Cleveland Cavaliers.
You mean the LeBronto / LeBronomaniac / the LeBron Cavaliers in that pissant city named Cleveland, in that area that's called Akron of Benedict.
I think you forgot bronzexuals.
I think that's the whole, Me Too stuff. We can't say that anymore, unfortunately.
Oh, we can see. I've been gone, so I don't know. I saw somebody posted on Facebook, so I was like, I felt like it was being accepted.
I don't know. I mean, I was still waiting for the LeBronomaniacs line to start catching headways, but the bronzexuals is something that people just started adopting now.
I think had they gotten swept, I think it would have been easier. That everybody would have kind of dispersed. But I don't want to see the Warriors versus the Cavs again, and that's not my, intent and root for the Rockets. Of course,
I completely agree with you. In fact, I was looking at polls. I was looking, on Twitter. Follow Debate Amongst Friends at Debate Amongst Fra. Looking at the Instagram. Follow Debate Amongst Friends on Instagram at Debate Amongst Friends. A lot of people really don't want this matchup to happen for a fourth time.
Right.
Like, if we really want to look at it, FGC-wise, Golden State already won the set.
This is true.
But if this is going to be the grand finals, and they get that work again, LeBron is going for Cleveland.
They'll be the Peyton Manning of basketball.
Well, technically speaking, LeBron James is the Peyton Manning of NBA Finals.
I mean, they're the punk.
No!
Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that.
Look, he was your boy!
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know about my boy. I just know that he comes up short from time to time.
Oh my gosh. Doc Plus.
Hey, sometimes you got to put it out there and just let them know what it is. But I mean, again, I just don't want to see LeBron again. I mean, it's time for a new champ. That's why I was hoping that the Celtics could overcome. But it's starting to feel like the Celtics are running out of steam. Or this is that point where they may miss a Kyrie or a Gordon Hayward, even though they never played with Gordon Hayward. I think they're missing that key ingredient.
I will agree with you, but I might go in a different direction for this. So if
sure.
It doesn't sound familiar to what you said, I apologize ahead of time. But
nope.
the thing that really hurt the Celtics is the fact they don't have that superstar, to give them that edge on the road. Because I mentioned this, previous episodes, that the Cavaliers, their role players, they suck on the road. But they're almost unstoppable at home.
Yeah.
The Celtics do not have anyone there to really silence the crowd. It was literally rowdy from the opening tip to about halftime.
And I think that's why I was kind of hoping, and I think a lot of people were hoping that the 76ers would have made it, because it would have been interesting to see Tristan Thompson versus Joel Embiid. Like, it would have just been interesting to see.
Would be part of more memes than what he's currently a part of. Shout out to Duchess for that.
Oh my goodness. But could you imagine if, you would have had, of course, LeBron. I would even know who LeBron would have been covered, because if he sticks to the position he would play, he'd be playing against somebody who doesn't even get the ball.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's rough, but with this particular Celtics team, I mean, they had a great run, but I mean, I am curious to see what is next in this game that's coming up tonight. What do they have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no stopping LeBron. He's going to get his points. There's no question about it.
I will agree with that.
The way they came out the first two games, to your point, makes sense. On the road, they stink.
They don't just stink. They are horrible on the road.
And that doesn't make any sense. I mean, are the lines painted differently, or is the floor different?
It's just something. And we we talked even before the podcast started. We talked about how there are certain players who really thrive being in your home crowd. Feeding off the energy from them, even if you're losing, like just feeding off their energy, kind of like a John Cena-esque type of thing.
But John Cena sucks.
Well, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, technically speaking, Roman stinks, but that's more because of how he's booked. But that's for marking out amongst friends, not for debate amongst friends.
Of course.
I mean, when you look at on the flip side, though, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but on the flip, like playing in a Boston for a playoff game, like you need to show up every single game. And if you have 2 games where you score 0 points, J.R. Smith, or only have 3 in 2 games, Jordan Hill, like, of course people are going to get on to you for that.
But that's J.R. Smith. You know J.R. Smith.
I know
J.R. Smith.
I know J.R. Smith. And
Yeah,
I told people about J.R. Smith, but they thought I was crazy. They thought I didn't know what I was talking about. They even said that I should stop watching basketball, that I shouldn't even have a controller in my hand.
Wow. But I mean, I think ultimately, when it comes down to this particular series, you're telling me it's going to come down to home and away?
Yeah.
So technically, the Celtics could win this series.
Yes, which is why Shannon Sharp today said for all the world to hear, he does not want this series to go to 7.
Right.
Because if it does, they will not get out of the East.
They're not going to be able to handle it. If that's what you're saying, if your theory is correct.
If my theory is correct, and I said that it's going to go 7 games, the Cavs will not make it to the NBA Finals.
I just wonder sometimes, because you think about it, these are a lot of games. You're talking about, I mean, even if, let's say, you don't play 82 games, let's just say you play 70, and then you got to go to the playoffs, and, the Cavs went, what? I can't even remember. I know they swept the Raptors, but prior to the Raptors, they went, what, 5 or 6 games?
Yep.
So you're saying 5 or 6 games, then another 4, and then you're talking about potentially going another 7. We're talking about 15 or 16 extra games. Then you're going to go to the finals, where you're going to play either Golden State or Houston, who are going to run you like crazy.
It is literally, and to use another wrestling term, this is going to be a burial. A burial. I'm not even trying to sugarcoat this. Like, if the Cavaliers make it to the finals, we may look at a sweep. Like, this might be the last time we see LeBron James make it to a finals. His first finals will be a sweep, And his last finals appearance would also be a sweep.
Just think about it like this. Either the Golden State Warriors or the Rockets, if they go up against the Cavs, let's just think about this hypothetically.
Okay. You might not be happy about what I got to say, but go ahead.
Only people on their team that can shoot threes consistently, J.R. Smith. Not as consistent, but consistently put up threes, I'll say. Yes. J.R. Smith and Korver. Versus Golden State, I mean, their top 4 players can shoot threes. I would probably give maybe the edge off of Draymond. Draymond can hit it, but he's not very consistent. Him and JR kind of cancel each other out. So you're talking about 3 versus Kyle Korver. LeBron can hit the 3 every once in a while, sure. In Houston, same thing. Everybody on the floor can shoot a 3 except for Clint Capella. Which if he develops a 3 ball, just forget it. That would be something special. But I think that would take away from his game, and he would become Dwight Howard. I believe that the West, no matter what, wins this finals. No matter what. Mm-hmm. I don't want to play the Celtics, though. I really would rather play the King. Yes. I'm not even going to lie to you. I would rather play the King. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it.
That's true.
But you were going to disagree with me on something.
So, I'm going to disagree with you. So, where I previously stated that this would be a burial, I was saying this more for if LeBron and his team faced off against the Warriors.
Oh,
I think it'll go 5 if it's against the Rockets.
I mean, I can take 5 because we'll have that game in which we kind of slack off a little bit, or we just can't put the ball in the bucket. That's cool.
But that's the only caveat I'll put onto it. I don't think the Rockets have the mental capacity to sweep the Cavaliers. But the Warriors want that.
So I think the only person who has that mental capacity is Chris Paul. He's the only one who has the mental capacity and the hunger to actually sweep a team. It's just he just doesn't have the consistency offensively.
Yes.
To sweep a team, but mentally he will sweep the heck out of a team. I mean, he's throwing more elbows.
Here's what I'll say about Chris Paul if they make it to the finals. If they make it to the finals against the Cavaliers, Chris Paul will turn the NBA Finals into an and-one mixtape.
I agree.
Like an and-one mixtape, people get their ankles broken. Like he's gonna make people cry. Like people gonna be sitting at the edge of the bench. Tyronn Lue's gonna be like, "You get off the bench." He's like, "Nope. I ain't doing it. I don't want that."
I could see Chris Paul crossing somebody up and then doing a step over in front of Ty Lue. I could definitely see that. I mean, but he's a beast.
I would pay money to watch it happen.
I mean, did you see him? Did you see somebody actually was like heckling him on the sideline and he said your mama? I mean, he's gone heel. I told you, like he's gone off the deep end, like, and maybe because I didn't, of course we played against the Clippers and I hated it every time. I think he's done some spectacular things with the ball that we used to see when we were younger. Like he is out there doing and-one passes. I mean, there's this thing where he spins the ball.
That pass that he did across the baseline.
Yeah.
Across the baseline to Gerald Green to pop that 3. That was amazing.
It was. I can't believe it wasn't stolen.
I can't believe it wasn't out of bounds.
I mean, the ref was right there looking at it.
I also couldn't believe it wasn't butter. Because that ball that went inside the net was wet.
Straight parquet. Straight parquet.
Oh my gosh. We're having too much fun, ladies and gentlemen.
Nah, definitely. I mean, but this is what we do. I mean, this is debate amongst friends, baby.
This is.
I mean, this isn't, punks stay at the fun park.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. But I mean, the game is on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
What are your predictions? Game 5 is back in TD Garden.
I mean, if your theory is correct, I believe you. Like, I really do believe you. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that Boston crowd, the Garden, is going to come alive. And I think they're going to rally to win. And if they do, this series could be over too.
I feel like this is going to be a short game.
I mean, it could be over in 6. Whoever wins this game
is going to win the series. Yep.
Yeah.
So who do you got, though? Do you got Boston? Or do you have LeBron and his team? See, I'm not saying the Cavaliers. I'm just saying LeBron and his team.
It's like I hate it because I already know how it goes, but I'm going to go with the Celtics. I know they lost these last 2 games, but I just can't see them beating them 3 times in a row. This is one of the best teams in the East. I mean, and they're not the Raptors. You know, the Raptors, again, as I told Jay Ritty, a.k.a. Jay Rich, the host of Marking Out Amongst Friends.
Which should be on tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to talk about professional wrestling, that's where you need to go.
There is no way I would coach a team where a player would say, we would be good, of course, if we had that player from that other team. Or if a coach says, hey, LeBron can't play forever, we'll win the championship when LeBron retires. Come on, stop it. So Brad Stevens is not doing that. Brad Stevens is going to coach these guys up. He's going to get them ready. And I think the Celtics are going to steal this one. I mean, look out for Al Horford. I think he might...
Well, I don't even want to say they're going to steal one. I just think they had the ability to beat the Cavs.
True.
Like, because stealing one is like, you know, they would steal one the last game at the Q, but they didn't. But I honestly feel like that they can honestly beat the Cavaliers. Like, what really hurt them this last game was the fact that they couldn't hit any threes. Whereas the LeBron and Maniac-driven Cavaliers, you know, was bombing threes and was making them. Heck, even LeBron James was making threes.
And see, that's the thing. And I'm hoping that teams aren't trying to go tit for tat. Like, there are some points in the game where you can't, like, if this team scores a 3, you just have to try to get a bucket.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
Case in point was last night's game.
Yeah, you have to get a bucket, and that's it. You know, you can't focus on anything else with scoring. We were down. You saw it, 12-0. All I wanted was a bucket. Please, anybody, score a basket. And once we score one basket, I mean, that's it.
I mean, but I guess the biggest X factor in this whole series, and even just tonight by itself, but more so the whole series, is how many more minutes will LeBron James secure?
He's going to play all but maybe 6 minutes, 7 minutes. He's going to play, unless they're up, he's going to play.
Because a lot of people are saying that they need to start using a different lineup to allow LeBron James to get more rest, which would be levying off of Kevin Love, who's supposed to be the number 2 scorer for the team, and have him be the focal point for the offense to allow LeBron James to rest for half a quarter, or you know, possibly a third of a quarter. But we both know, and that people at home also know, that that's not going to happen.
LeBron's going to play similar to all the stars on the playoffs. They're going to play as long as they need to. I was surprised Steph Curry sat down last night. Now, they're going to play as long as they need to win the game. So LeBron cannot be subbed out of the game. LeBron's that player where you try to sub him out, he can be like, no, coach. This is my team. This is my moment. I'm the coach now. Exactly. You shall not take me out of this game. And even if he does sit down, he's gonna be like, "Yo, put me back in," and that's embarrassing.
And that's what happened in the game 7 of the first round.
Absolutely.
Like, he only sat down for 3 minutes. I believe it's 3 minutes. I don't even need Chris to verify that. I'm pretty sure it's 3 minutes.
I'm pretty sure you're right. I mean, it's one of those things. I'm pretty sure. But I'm gonna go with the Celtics. I think they'll come out and win this one. I think they were battle tested with the 76ers. Honestly, I think the 76ers team is a little better than the Cavs. I think. I mean, obviously, the only difference is LeBron.
Yep.
I think if LeBron wasn't on the Cavs, they wouldn't have beat the Raptors. But again.
Let's not even talk about that, because the Raptors once again bent over and kissed themselves goodbye.
I mean, who put together that garbage?
It was definitely, obviously, Kevin Dunn.
I mean, clearly.
Or Jeff Fisher.
Wow, not Jeff Fisher. At least it's not James Dolan, right? Oh man, we'll get there. Why you gotta do that to me, man? Why you gotta do that to me? You always do this, man. I mean, maybe one day he'll just decide that he doesn't want to own the New York team anymore. Which is so funny, because they all say that New York is one of the hardest markets, yet James Dolan manages to escape scrutiny almost every year.
Well, that was before he became more polarizing as far as the issues for the Knicks.
If he didn't do that thing with Oakley last year, we wouldn't have heard anything about him.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I knew, but the public at large wouldn't have known.
But yeah, I mean, I think we should be moving on. But I don't think you gave your predictions yet. Who you got?
Oh, I got the C's, and I don't mean the Lears. I have the Celtics winning tonight in a close game. But I think they're going to run away with this one.
You got the Seamuses.
Wow.
The Celtic Warrior.
I have the luck of the Irish.
The luck of the Irish. Wow. Well, that's good. I agree. I think that they're going to come together, and hopefully we have reads. I
mean, so far in the conference finals, I have been perfect. I hope to continue that trend.
Yes. We're gonna see. I mean, like I said, I'm hoping that these series are over. But of course, the more basketball games that are lost, the more playoff games we will get. We can have potentially 2 game 6s. To end the playoff, but to end the conference finals. But I mean, we also had some coaching news. I know I mentioned James Dolan. David Fizdale is putting his final stamps. Anybody you're looking forward to being an assistant coach that you feel can come in and dominate?
They're trying to get Judge Buehler from the Lakers. I mean, they have a lot of candidates, and primarily the ones from Pop's world out in San Antonio.
Of course.
Definitely caught my eye. I feel like that they can come in and incorporate some of Pop's theory, and I think Fizdale is a disciple of Pop, if I'm not mistaken, actually.
Fizdale, I believe, was with crap, what is his name?
Chris!
The assistant on the Warriors, who was the old Knicks coach.
Chris is finding out right now.
I don't think what is his name? Wow. Has it been that long?
He was an assistant coach for the Warriors.
Warriors, yes. But he was also under Mike Brown.
Yes.
In Cleveland. That's what it was, Mike Brown. That pissant.
No, he was never with Cleveland.
He was never with Cleveland?
No.
Really?
Nope. He was assistant coach for Golden State 2003-2004, Atlanta Hawks 2004-2008, Miami Heat 2008-2016.
That's what it was. The Miami Heat Spoelstra. So he was because he was with LeBron.
Yes.
I knew he was with LeBron. So he was with LeBron in Miami. Got it. So that makes sense. Okay.
So he learned under Pat Riley.
Pat Riley, which is favorable.
Which is just as good, actually. If you don't.
Yeah, that's favorable.
If you really want to go there.
Oh yeah, that's favorable.
Like, if you have to go between two schools of coaching, it'll be Pop first, then it'll be Pat Riley, and then it'll be Phil Jackson, in my opinion.
I agree. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree.
And Larry Brown would be like number 4 for me.
Larry Brown is such a beast. I think his time kind of just ran out. He was
before his time, but then at the same time, after his time at the same time.
Agreed. But I mean, I think hopefully the next group of coaches can come in. The Brad Stevens, these guys can come in. Hopefully David Fizdale can make a run and rebuild the Knicks. I think that would be great. That's what the NBA needs.
That's what we need. To quote Pop, which we're still sending our condolences out to his loss. We want some fire in the NBA. We want some spirit in the NBA. We want a little nasty.
Absolutely.
Okay, we want some nasty.
Absolutely.
Probably one of my favorite quotes in game.
But it's true though, and I mentioned this, and I think I've said this about the teams that I loved. The Rockets, the Bucks. Like, I would like them to be nasty. The Knicks, they were nasty.
They were nasty
in the 90s. Like, that's all I watched. Patrick Ewing, Charles Oakley, Anthony Mason, John Starks. They were not going to be just ran over
Houston
like they're
towards
playing
the
now.
2000s.
Houston, Chris
Charles
Childs. Yes,
Childs. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing.
Charlie Ford.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, to me, I just believe that getting back to that old school tough mentality, bringing some defense to the Knicks won't hurt. But I think that in the draft, I did see that they were interested potentially in Trae Young. Mm-hmm. So that could be a good pairing.
Well, no, we're going to try to sign the person we had that we picked up during the year.
Oh my God. The guy that used to play for, I believe, Utah.
Yes.
But I mean, I think Trae Young is I think he's a good point guard / shooting guard, somebody that you might kind of be able to, kind of do what the Rockets do what a few other teams are doing, and play the two point guards at the same time. You must be talking about Trey Burke.
Yes.
But you also have, the rookie from last year. You have, Ron Baker still, Moutier.
I don't think they're going to continue on with Ron Baker, even though I like him.
Of course. All right.
But that's okay.
Yeah, you got Jarrett Jack on the team.
Who may or may not end up getting shipped too.
I wouldn't blame you. But, you have a lot of options. I mean, I think what they do have to do, clearly, is get Porzingis the help that he needs.
Yes. Thankfully, we got rid of the Noah contract, so that's a big sigh of relief.
Oh, my goodness. I know you were happy about that.
Very happy, in fact.
But I think you'll be good. I don't think it will. I think the Knicks are going to be good next year. I said that last year going into this year because I really believed it. I thought Noah was going to be a great pickup, but he turned out to be TAS. Wait.
Trash.
So hopefully you'll get better. But I mean, any other coaching news that you're interested in, or I mean, I did hear rumblings, just small inklings of rumblings,
just small ones.
That
little fizzers.
yeah, that the Minnesota Timberwolves, I think they've been having an issue with Karl Anthony Towns, and they're like, listen, we'll get rid of Tibbs before we get rid of Cat. So I think we might have another situation where a coach, even after making the playoffs, gets fired.
Yep.
But
although we do have to talk about that part now, the potential coach of the year.
But you already knew. You knew.
I knew. I mean, I said it too.
That's what I'm saying earlier. I mean, the things that he said, and this is what I mentioned on a post on Facebook. Had he come out every game like Steve Kerr, like Greg Popovich, like MDA and some of these other coaches, come out and say, my team stunk it up tonight. They just were straight terrible. Mm-hmm. Instead of coming up with lame excuses or jokes like, that's not funny. You got spanked. Like, you got swept. You got swept. You were the number one team. You got swept. You had 7 years, and that's what you had to say about it. If we had LeBron, we would play that good too. No, he probably. I mean, I would imagine that he probably went into the owner's office that next day and said, "We need to do a rebuild," and the owner was like, "Oh no, we're not doing that." So they fired.
No, wait. The owner was like, yes, I agree. We do need to do a rebuild. Starting with you. What? You're fired.
You're fired. But they're not going to do a rebuild. They're just going to bring in somebody else to try to run it. But it's like, it's not the coach. It's the players.
It is the players.
And in Toronto, it's rough. Because when you think about it, just imagine if, just go back in time. Just a little bit, not too far back. Vince Carter, T-Mac.
Yep.
Right? Chris Bosh.
Yep. Well, it was them two plus Marcus Camby.
Marcus Camby. The Camby man.
No, that was Olowokandi, who was also in the Raptors. In fact, I believe he was a top pick for them too one year.
I think Olowokandi went to the Clippers.
He went to the Clippers first, and then he went over there.
And then he went to the Raptors. But as I said, they had some pretty good stuff, but they have a hard time holding on to them. And that's probably why the owner is really reluctant to loosen the reins on these players. But it's time.
It is time.
It's time.
And we don't mean Vader time, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time. Let it go. I mean, it's over. It's over. Let it go. DeRozan, out of here.
Gone.
Lowry, out of here.
Gone.
Ibaka, gone. Maybe keep Valanciunas.
I think they could build around Valanciunas.
I believe that.
Valanciunas and Van Fleet would be a really good 1-2 punch right there.
I think they should build around that. And some of the bench players that they had who did play, but some of the players that they consider to be stars, just get them out of here.
Get them out of there, because they're not stars.
I would probably start with trading for John Wall if I could.
John Wall's not going to want to go up there.
He's probably not, but I would try.
No. And I don't blame him for wanting to go up there because, people celebrate mediocrity.
True. Or I would try to. I mean, listen. The Celtics are going to have a problem next year. I would try to trade with the Celtics. They're going to have a major problem next year.
They are going to have a major problem next year.
Like, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they traded Gordon Hayward.
And that's a shame too, because he has to have a chance to actually play.
Yeah, and the only reason I say that is because you don't want to pay all that money for somebody when you know you have a rising star in Jason Tatum.
Yep.
Like, he's prime. Like, he's so ready to take over the league.
I wonder if he has an amnesty clause on his contract.
I'm not sure. That's an interesting. I think
that's going to be off podcast research for Chris.
But I wouldn't want an amnesty. I would definitely try to get that trade. A team. Now, let's say the Raptors stayed together and they were able to put together a trade for Gordon Hayward. That might make some interesting perspective.
Then people are going to start complaining, oh, LeBron James got to face off against another super team.
I mean, who cares at this point? Everybody's kind of getting together to not lose. So, I mean, that's what it's about. I think eventually we're going to have to get over LeBron and LeBron Maniacs. It's going to have to get down to a point where these teams are competing for a championship. The Warriors have done it. The Cavs did it. The Heat did it.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the way it's got to be. You have to just. Those are the teams that aren't trying to settle for that. Being mediocre, as you mentioned.
Yes.
So, I mean, if the Raptors want to get better, they're gonna have to make a splash, and they have to make it real good too.
I mean, heck, who knows? Maybe they'll make a trade to acquire Klay Thompson.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. Like, literally, my brainwave went straight through the camera here and hit you square in the face. Because I literally was thinking the exact same thing.
Yep.
Because I don't think I think he could be so much better, but Klay's so weird to me. He's so
Be
weird.
extra careful with your comment afterwards.
Okay. He's so weird. He's a weird guy. That's it. He's just a weird guy.
Because I'm like, where is he going with this?
He's so strange. Like, I never know. Like, I just don't know. Like, I would love to have him on my team, but I just know that his shooting is so weird. Like, it's so sporadic. Like, you don't even know. Like, he's always 65% into his shooting motion at all time, even when he's not shooting.
Yes.
Like, he's just so strange.
Which is interesting because I had a chance to watch a few weeks ago, and I'm going into anime territory real quickly, Slam Dunk, actually, Kokoro no Basket, which is a sports anime, which, I already told you before, if you watch sports anime, it's, like, perfect for you. Okay. But the one thing about sports anime is they enhance the things that's going on in the court. So whereas you get the ball and you take a shot, like you get the ball and you're having like a 3-minute monologue, like what's gonna happen? I'm going to beat him, kind of thing. But the reason I was saying that is, so the movie was basically showing the Team of Dreams going against a streetball team from America, because why not? Because it has to be America, and it has to be streetball as well too.
Of course.
But it was amazing because one of the players from the Team of Dreams was a 3-point specialist, and after he made a couple of threes, they started to front him, make sure he doesn't get the rock and things like that. So they came up with a plan to have the point guard basically pass him the ball while he's in mid-shooting motion.
Wow.
So when you said that, I instantly thought of that moment.
It makes sense. I mean,
so the ball literally hit his hand as soon as he's about to flick his wrist.
Wow.
Gone.
That's ridiculous, and you know it. That's ridiculous.
Kind of want to try that one day.
That's so
I think it's possible, though. It is possible.
It is. It is, but that's the way he plays, though. So even last night, when the ball was in his hand, it was just like, I was like, oh my God, not Klay. Because you never know. Like, he's so, like, sporadic. Like, sometimes he'll be lights out, then other times he'll just be shooting because he hasn't touched the ball all game. Mm-hmm. And you just don't, like, he's an emotional shooter. Like, there's emotional eaters, emotional, people who take drugs, emotional drinkers.
Am I only shooting because I'm bored?
Yes, I'm just shooting because I didn't get the ball, and now I got the ball, I'm going to shoot it.
Yeah.
Klay, don't shoot. Get past it. No, I'm shooting. That's kind of the way it looks on TV, but I'm sure that's not the way it goes. But it's going to be interesting, to say the least. But I think we are done with the NBA.
We are done. So let's transition from the NBA to a podium, because it's not the gridiron, because they're not playing yet. But we have news, breaking news that has made people happy, made a lot of people very disappointed, instilled feelings of rage within a lot of people as well too. The NFL decided to change their policy when it comes to the national anthem. So you're thinking, well, did they get rid of the national anthem for football games? Absolutely not. Did they decide to allow the owners to donate to charities based on the people who want to kneel? Absolutely not. The NFL has decided to make the anthem policy be determined on the owners of the teams.
Right. Which is weird. And they're also stating, I guess, you could just choose not to be out on the field.
Yes. So the main consensus of this new policy is you are not allowed to do anything to disrespect the national anthem.
So basically you just have to not show up, which is kind of weird. That's kind of weird too.
It is kind of weird. It is kind
of, because you think about it, we've been to a game, so it's like, you know, players are out there, they're warming up, and then they go back into the locker room, they do the announcements, they run out through the little, you know, pyrotechnics and other, you know, cheerleaders and whatnot, and then it's like they stand there for the anthem. So now it's going to be like you warm up, you know, you basically like do the intro, run through, and then, you know, run around, but run back to the locker room or run back to the tunnel. It's going to be strange. Like, that's going to be very, very weird. If that's, you know, I don't know if that's the route that they're thinking about taking, but that's crazy to me.
It is going to be crazy, and it's already causing an upstorm already. The NFLPA is already trying to get some type of, I don't even know if they're trying to get it completely vetoed, but, you know, they're trying to add different stipulations to it. One thing that I was reading was if players who don't want to stand for the national anthem, they'll have the option to stay inside the locker room.
Right, they just don't come out. You know, and that, but that, again, the intros, the warm-ups, I mean, it's hard to just stay in the locker room. Like, how can you do that?
Yeah. I mean, for me, the only thing that I'm thinking about, which, you know, if we want to take this worst-case scenario, what's going to happen if it's a Super Bowl next year, and an entire team, minus the coaching staff, is standing out there for the anthem because the rest of the team decides to sit inside the locker room as their silent protest?
So
what kind of message did that say?
So that's a great point. So at this time, I'm actually watching All In, which is a show on Amazon Prime Video. This year, they're doing the coverage on the Dallas Cowboys. And Jason Garrett said to his team, he said, I don't know about you guys, but I've been respecting and standing for this flag for the last, you know, 20, 30 years.
Of course.
It's, you know, it's a custom, it's a tradition, you know, so that's you know, really the reason why he was doing it. Not so much for what it represents, but because of the tradition of, you know, standing for the flag. I mean, you've seen that picture of a person standing there with their, you know, their hand over their heart. You know, they got war paint on their face, you know, and then they're crying their eyes out because they're so ready to play. Like, I mean, it's definitely been shown over and over, but it's like when he said that, it just dawned on me. It's like some people are only doing this because of the tradition. Like, just standing out there with your teammates is what we've been taught all our lives to do in elementary school. You know, you stand up, you know, you salute the flag. So it's not necessarily because, you know, you ultimately want to. It's more of, hey, this is what we're used to doing. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know.
That's a more common mindset, though. Like, just used to doing it because it's been engraved in your mind since, like, Pop Warner days.
And that's crazy to me, you know, because you would think that people would, you know, want to do it because of this is the country that they live in. And I'm interested to hear, you know, other takes on this. I'm hoping that people do comment. Of course, we're on Instagram at Debate Amongst Friends, our Facebook page and group. Obviously, we're on Twitter. If you do have any comments, we would love to hear them all. You know, just search Debate Amongst Friends. You know, I'm Dr. Wednesday Night or TL Double on most of my social media platforms. You have the Professor John Gotti, the King of Unji, the Troll Masters, the Data Analyzer Ninja, the conqueror of his own destiny.
I bet you feel way better now saying that.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. I feel like I've been gone for months. but it's only been a week, and that's okay. But I just feel like we want to hear people's opinions on that because it's big. You know, and this is a touchy situation. It's always touch. You know, when we start getting into politics and race and things like that, it can turn everything upside down. Race can turn everything upside down. And this might be something more potentially for, you know, the Duke show or maybe a separate show altogether. But there was a post that I posted earlier on Facebook about a toy, a Walking Dead toy. I don't know where it is. It's one of those big-headed toys, kind of not huge head, but whatever. I guess there's a group of characters on The Walking Dead where there's a girl who has two brothers who are zombies, and she cut off their arms because they're going to try to grab her, and she has chains on them to kind of walk them around.
Yeah. So
there was a lady at a bank who, you know, she was there. She must have been signing up for an account, and the banker had the toy on his desk behind him. So he only had one toy out, and the toy just so happened to look like an African-American man with a chain around its neck. But she had no idea, because she doesn't watch The Walking Dead, of course, that it was from The Walking Dead. So she says, you know, what is that on your desk over there? And he's like, oh, that? He's like, oh, that's just a toy. And she said, I find it to be offensive. And he was like, oh, that? Why? You know, not thinking about slavery, you know. And I think right there, it's like there are so many people who are, you know, used to it. There are so many people who are ultra sensitive. There are so many people who aren't, you know, aware of it at all. But I think this flag situation, I think everybody's looking at it differently, similar to this toy, because I mean, I got different perspectives when I posted it. But I mean, this flag, everybody's looking at it so differently that it's clouding everybody's judgment on where to stand. So people are like, well, you should stand for the flag because, you know, soldiers died for it. You know, well, they should kneel for the flag because innocent people are dying for it. You know, so it's like, it's just so much. It's so much. You know, and I was hoping that at this time in Debate Amongst Friends, 105 episodes in, that we would have been over the protest. I mean, I think we've covered this probably for about 50 to 60 episodes.
Yeah, it's probably like 25 episodes.
Yeah, at least 25, but I feel like it's been at least a year and a half, almost 2 years. And that's pretty much been our whole existence. But it's like, I would have hoped that we would have been over it by now, but we're not, and that part's pretty sad. But I mean, at least they have a quote-unquote policy in their books. That's what I can say.
But I mean, we got to see what's going to happen, and as more news come along, we'll be sure to, you know, let you know what's happening, and also provide our thoughts for it. And perhaps we could even have the Duke jump on to offer his take as well too, if he doesn't decide to talk about it on Duke It Out on every other Sunday, on many and all platforms.
And you know, and I look forward to that. I hope he does cover it or come on the show. That would be great. I guess I would look out for pre-game entertainment. I think that teams are gonna.
Because now, since this rule is in effect now, the NFL teams will be fined if players are kneeling. So there's no individual fine, team effort. So this is all on the teams. So I mean, if the team's like, you know what, let's just stay in the locker room and we'll send out Gwen Stefani. Wow. You know. Oh my gosh. Or we go out and send Fergie. People gotta be kneeling for laughing so hard.
Exactly, during the national anthem. Exactly. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to see exactly what happens. Obviously, NFL owners aren't gonna want to lose any money, and they'll just tell them, if you don't want to kneel, stay in the locker room. It'll be all good, or stay in the tunnel. Stay in the tunnel. Yeah, I mean, in fact, I just got finished watching a couple of clips from Dark Knight Rises, and the scene where they was doing the football game, which was in Pittsburgh.
And, you know, Bane was in the tunnel, and he waited until the little boy finished singing the national anthem before coming out. So that's a great comparison.
It is. That is a good comparison.
What a lovely,
I think not being there is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But I believe
we are at Endgame, ladies and gentlemen. This is the time where we provide our final thoughts for the week. Doc, you have been here for a week, so I'm starting off with you.
So, after watching All In with the Dallas Cowboys, I can kind of see why Dez Bryant got cut. So, I believe deeply that Dez Bryant is the type of player that it's like when he's good, he's good, but when he's bad, he complains about small stuff. Like he came across as petty, somewhat. And just watching it, I was just like, and I'm only on episode 3. You know, so I can only imagine how the rest of the season is going to go. But it's really interesting to watch, and again, I can definitely see how that could be a major issue. Now, the other thing I do see here, I know we actually had the NBA camp, the draft camp, combine. There you go. In which Grayson Allen and some of the other young guys, they were really balling out. And I'm actually, oh my God, it's a long time since I said that. And actually, it looks like Grayson Allen has recently worked out for the Lakers. But I think the major story of the draft so far has been the potential first-round pick, Doncic.
Yeah.
You know, there have been rumors that he may even stay overseas and not come and play in the NBA next year. He actually just won the MVP, if I'm not mistaken, this past week. So he's definitely a good player overseas. Hopefully that comes over and, you know, translates well. Lastly, Reuben Foster was actually cleared of his domestic violence charge. I know a few weeks ago we started that discussion, and we found out that his girlfriend was kind of framing him. They had an argument, and then she kind of threatened him and whatnot. But he has been cleared.
And we've been having those kind of conversations since the Ray Rice situation, actually.
Yes. I was actually just having a conversation about Ray Rice, but it was on video, so we know he did it. You know,
which we wasn't saying that he didn't do it. We were just like, you know, sometimes,
right? Yeah, sometimes
people do stuff.
They do, but we don't condone those actions. But he's been cleared due to insufficient evidence, and I believe she came out and literally said I was lying. So that's great. But other than that, sir, I believe I am clear.
Thank you very much, sir. I have a couple of final thoughts. The NBA just announced their all-defensive teams today. I'm going to read them off for you.
Please.
In the NBA all-defensive first team, we have Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, Victor Oladipo, Drew Holiday, and Robert Covington.
That's for period? Like that?
The first
period.
Team. That's the first team.
Okay, first team.
First team. The second team is Joel Embiid, Draymond Green, Al Horford, DeJounte Murray, and Jimmy Butler.
Clint Capella did not make the first or second team all defense?
He did not make it.
Wow.
Clint Capella, let me see if I can find his name in this listing real quick. So Chris Paul just missed out on the second team. If I was to tell you that that your boy is not on this list, how would you feel?
That's unbelievable. You had this like best year. Let me look.
Because I see PJ Tucker, I see Bayamute.
Wow. And he didn't even play it. Oh my God.
Yep. Yeah, he's not on there. I'm sorry, sir.
Wow.
He's not on there.
That's so unbelievable. That's so
I'm so glad you asked that question, though. That's a great question.
Definitely, because he should have been there. I mean, wow. But go ahead, continue.
All right. I mean, the last person on the list as far as candidates was Fred VanVleet.
Wow.
In other news, which kind of shocked us pretty badly, the LA Clippers announced to give an extension to head coach Doc Rivers. What are you talking about? Are y'all guys losing your minds? Are you serious?
I thought it was a joke.
I honestly kept clicking through. I'm like, okay, please tell me they're catfishing us.
Yes, I really thought it was a joke, but
it's not a joke.
It's not a joke at all.
It's not a joke. So
I can't believe that. The mediocrity.
I guess congrats?
I guess. Congrats.
But whatever. Shifting away from the NBA. Combo Breaker, which is a FGC event, one of the big events for the season for Capcom Pro Tour, is this weekend. Out in St. Charles, Illinois. From the 25th to the 27th. Of course, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Street Fighter 5 will be one of part of the games that's going to be played. Of course, other ones includes Tekken, Guilty Gear, which you like that one a little bit.
A little bit, very little.
Let's see which other ones real quickly. Injustice 2. Under Night Inburst EXE. That one is new as far as events. I think that's a side one. Killer Instinct, Smash Brothers Wii U.
Okay.
Smash Brothers Wii U Doubles. Skullgirls Second Encore. Mario vs. Capcom Infinite. It's not even part of the main stuff. Like, that's how badly Infinite is right now.
Wow.
And Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening on the sides too. Like Melee is in it, but they only have 94 entrants. They're waiting to Evo. That's why they're not there.
Got it.
In other news, we're getting closer and closer to E3.
Can't wait.
The Doc and I, as well as Duke, has been getting hype for a couple of games, such as the Call of Duties and the Division 2 as well too. But other games notable would be Smash Brothers. They're going to bring that over to the Switch. They're coming out with a new Tomb Raider game as well too. But the game that I want to talk about real quickly, Borderlands. There was a leak, air quotes, of Borderlands 3 being announced for E3 this year on June 11th, which is a Monday. We don't know how reliable this source is, but at the same time, it's been a game that people have been wanting since 2014. The actual scene for it is still really active, so there's really no showings of it slowing down anytime soon. But the idea of them bringing out a third title of it would be great, as long as they don't pull a they don't pull a Metal Gear and have a freaking survival game that, you know, was absolute trash. TAS ellipse wait.
But I'm sure some other games are going to be great from that list.
And absolutely, it's going to be a chance for us to, you know, explore a couple of other games. Gaming Amongst Friends will be getting itself started around that time as well too. So, you know, make sure you look out for that. Gaming Amongst Friends on YouTube. Just type that in, or just go onto our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/debateamongstfriends, where you will find myself, the Duke, and the Doc, as well as all of our other family and friends joining in as we play some video games.
It would actually also be good if maybe next year that's a planned trip. Maybe we go to E3, wherever it's going to be. If it's going to be in Los Angeles, we go to Los Angeles.
We could talk about that one. As much as I would love to go to E3, there's some hesitance about that. But I'll talk to you about that off the past.
I mean, It's gaming amongst friends. I mean, we get to try demos. I mean, it'd probably be pretty sweet.
We can. Once again, I'll talk to you about that off the cast.
Okay.
I'm with you, but there's things I got to tell you. I'll just tell you this right now. It's not like Evo.
Of course, it's just like it's probably just a convention where they're just showing the games.
So tonight's track, ladies and gentlemen.
That bad? Oh my god!
It's by Epic Lloyd from his EP album "Pops Over the Falls." Released in 2015. Well, once again, we do not own the rights for these musics, but we do enjoy promoting different tracks. So if you have tracks you want us to promote, make sure you reach out to us on our social media sites, on Twitter, at Debate Amongst Friends, Facebook, facebook.com/Debate Amongst Friends, instagram.com/Debate Amongst Friends. You can follow myself at Kin86. You can follow the Doc at TL Double. You can also listen to us off the podcast right here on YouTube when we're not live. You can also listen to us on SoundCloud, Google Play Music, iTunes, FM radio, and all other podcast applications on your iOS and Android devices. But thank you very much for tuning in tonight on this Wednesday evening. We will know that we are always on every single Wednesday evening right here on YouTube and other podcast devices. I am the Professor John Gotti.
This is Dr. Wednesday Night himself.
And we would like to bid you a goodbye. Mwah. And good night. Bang.
Taste the ocean.
This goes out to my pops. And the theory of relativity. Memories like pictures. Now those books used to make me read when I was a kid. Memories like pictures. I see memories like pictures, snaps and flashes, captured images plastered to the walls of my brain. Got a strain sometimes through my dust-covered mind, but it's one of these times that's inspired this rhyme. I'm 12 or maybe 11. My little brother Travis is just 6 or 7. I see my older brother Kurt drive my dad and me all hiking up this peak through a creek. See, I'm from the east where it's covered with trees and leaves, and between branches are hidden many mountainous streams. I feel the breeze on my face from that mountain. I see us hiking around the river, it is flowing straight down it. They carved the boulders till they molded around it, and the waterfalls spread out like upside down fountains. 3 stories each, and them shits was steep, but the algae made them slick and flat off like Wayne's Beach. If you dare walk atop that rock with bare feet and then flash, but he's just out of reach, and he slipped. I never could have caught him or stopped the fall, and even if I could, I don't know if I'd have had the balls. Here's my little kid brother sliding right for the drop, 15 foot down, smack on the rocks, flash, slow motion, flash, the image stops and flash, a pale skin, here comes Pops, snatches Travis up with the back of both arms, tosses him to shore, and then head first, flash, gone. Slip, 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 slip. Now that cold river water is pretty as hell, but it sure don't break a fall so well. He fell straight down, smashing off the jagged granite. Bashed his head and his legs before his body landed. 4-inch puddle with a rocky splash, his eye all gashed up in a crumpled mass. And now everything is flashes, I'm looking in his face, dazed, confused, shock, I never seen him this way. I see my pops, he's bloody, eyes buggy, see him fuzzy, his expression is blank, it's cute and funny. And now I'm running and I'm holding up his shoulders, I'm wishing I could carry more, wishing I was older, doing everything I can to keep him up. Swatting horseflies from his head that came out with the blood. I wish I could grasp all the pictures from this trip, but the older I get, the more the memories slip. Bashed but not broken, he's a tough old bastard. Said he vaulted off them rocks like he was back in gymnastics, and the doctor said he's lucky. Fact is, if he hadn't fall like that, would have definitely killed Travis. He passed the test for his sons, I guess. We watched Pop jump first, no concern for nets. He squashed any second guessing in a split second. Made sense of conversations that had left us disconnected. Without a lot of time for wrong or right, he flashes true colors, and I captured them bright. I try to live that way and remember the sight. Pops over the falls, bravest thing I've seen in my life. Slip, slip, slip. moment.